nice big one too. Alright. Okay, one more. I'll flip it. Okay, one more. Okay, let's put that back in the fire. I'm going to do a flatter on this one. That's right, that's a big piece of metal. That is not anything you'll get at Lowe's. So that's 1.5 inches square steel. So this is a flatter.
Put my safety glasses on.
That's right. The pros do wear goggles. And I think in your daily application at forging, that's not necessarily, you don't really need that. Always something over your eyes. I wear glasses, so I'm fortunate that I always have something. But in some operations, it's probably a good idea to have full goggles. Alright. I love that once the fire gets hot. Sorry, I'm going to move this a little bit. Alright, I'm going to flip it. Okay, I'm going to flip it. Flip it. One more. Alright.
Definitely tell a difference when I hit that than when I hit that.
Yeah.
Because that absorbs a lot more of the shock than that. It's cold.
They say that. Yeah, and that's neat. I don't know that experience because I've never done the sledgehammer part. But this is just a flatter. So what I want us to do is just flatten this piece of steel square to take some of this ugly charring out of it, and then we'll taper the edge down. But I read somewhere that if you're using a striker, you want to have 1 inch of wood sticking out of the tool. And I understood the concept, but the reason is because you can always see, like, it's on there. If it were simply done like a hammer wedged in there, you're not really sure if that handles, if this thing starts rotating outwards, I want to know it. And as long as I see wood, I know that that tool is handled. Because you can imagine if it left loose for some reason, it would shoot off like a bullet. One more. Alright, we'll flip it. Alright, we'll flip it. Get it a little cold. Okay, we'll put it back in the fire. See how it's flattened that down nicely? We'll do a little bit right there. This way it gets some of that stuff out of there. Yeah, that's a big piece of metal. And I noticed, try keeping this hand immobile. Think about putting your hand right here and just hitting.
Alright. Just pivot.
Yep, just pivot on that left hand, and you can hit it with a little force, but more, instead of, you don't want to really get up here too much. Because we're relying on the weight of this thing. Try and give that a try, because it's a lot easier on you, and it gives a little bit more control to where this lands. And I think it's less exerted. So you're taking the weight, you're pounding with the weight, but not doing the rotation. Alright. Give it a try, see how it feels. Alright, we got some heat. Let's find our ugliest part. Not quite the fork, huh?
No.
Does it feel easy?
Just working different muscles.
Alright. I think there's better control but less force.
Yeah.
Would like halfway between feel better?
Sure.
Try kind of a halfway between, somewhere in that vicinity, because we want power. But the fear, there are times when the striker's supposed to like wail,
right.
But you can imagine the dangers and
right.
fear. But we're safer hammering this way, but we're losing a lot of power. That's just a flatter, and I can definitely feel the heat, even being this close. Maybe I need to dip my hand in the water.
Yeah, go ahead.
Alright, we're gonna get this guy hot. And again, that advantage of coal over gas is, I don't know with gas if you'd ever get this bar of metal hot, and if you did, it would take a really long time. Our advantage is that it's heating the same way a smaller piece heats, and once you get it hot, it stays at that level. Alright, good. Kind of a bright cherry there. But that'll work for us. Okay, one more. Oh, sorry, that was me. My hand got hot. One more. Okay, one more. One more. Alright. Nice. See, that looks much better. Took most of that ugliness out of there.
Right.
We're good right up in here, right up in here. Got one little bit right there, and then we'll bring that one down. And that definitely helps, dipping my hand in water.
You need a longer handle.
Yeah, I need a longer handle. That would actually really help. I use this thing myself all the time. Just if you're flattening stuff out. But that is a short handle, and that's a big hot piece of metal. I can feel it. But that trick does work. I quench my hand.
You're even good. No, you can't quite keep your hand in there.
And I only use this, I only leave this here if I'm doing tools that need quenching. Because if I drop a piece of my metal in there, it does happen. It's really annoying.
So is that better? A little more power?
Yeah.
Alright. You're right, the fixed axis
Right?
helps probably get a more even tip.
Yeah, probably for accuracy, but we could tell there was a power loss too. Maybe a bigger sledge, but which I don't have. That's actually a pretty big sledge. I can't really use that myself.
Yeah, I'm starting to feel it in the hand.
I can hit
shot.
1 or 2 times with it, but not really more than that. I'm so choked up on the thing.
I had like some rubber shock absorbing gloves. My right hand was not hurting.
Okay, one more. Okay, one more. bad. We'll just kind of live with that.
Yeah, is that gonna be the top?
Maybe that'll be on this side.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
So it's not visible from the outside. All right, so we're gonna bring this thing taper down, and that I don't need to flap it for. Yeah, that's warm. And I thought the octagonal, we do it this way. So if I get to do an octagonal, if I set the bar right at the edge of where I want that octagonal, and you hit the set, that will theoretically give us that nice shoulder, and then the octagonal this way, because it'd be really hard to accurately hit and turn to make a nice octagonal like that. But if it were done like that with a set hammer, that's tricky to do.
What's the advantage to having the octagonal shape?
You know, the only thing I can really come up with, it looks cool, but to me the value would be you can instantly tell which side of the tool is which. Because when you're in the in fervor and you're working along,
right,
and your hammer's sitting on the anvil, at a glance, you might not really be, it's like this end or this end. And with a radius tool like this, maybe it's me and my vision, I can't tell quick enough which way's which. And I need to be able to be like, oh, boom, hammer in. So to me, it would be a matter of a visual difference.
right.
I think it's to make the tool, it's to taper your power where you want it. So, by reducing the surface, you're putting your force into a more central location with a larger mass of steel versus the square, which would displace its heat everywhere.
Right.
That's probably the real reason. So the smaller area you're hammering with, the more power you've got. Alright, now we got a big piece of metal. Oops, sorry about that. Okay, do like 2 or 3. Okay, again, I'm going to flip. Okay, one more. More. Okay, flip. Okay, one more. Let's get it hot again. Damn, that's awesome. That's a power hammer. The ultimate wish list.
I'll rent myself out,
Man. Can you imagine what you could do with a power hammer?
Yeah.
Well, it would mean one guy could do this,
Yeah.
like, more accurately than anyone can hammer. Just boom, 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 boom. But again, that capital investment. I mean, imagine just the cube of cement you have to put in would cost you $1,000. 3 by 1 square yard of cement. It'd be like $1,000. Now the professionals to do this have an anvil tool that's shaped like this. And what the smith does is sets the bar on that tool, and the striker hammers, so it gives you that taper by hammering on a flat tool, which seems to me a little curious, but it's an awesome idea. Force comes down, so the tool is doing one side, the hammer is doing the other side, instead of this and this. awesome. And I have to send you that video. I said I would, and I haven't yet. But it shows the pros doing exactly this, and it is a beautiful thing to see. Kind of scary, actually, because they're doing like a lot of force. Okay, one more on my flip. One more on my flip. Okay, my flip. Okay, one more. Do one right on the top. One more, I'm gonna flip it. Okay. Yeah, I can't. Unlike smaller metal, I can't really even do it up there.
Yeah.
Nice. So that's a nice taper. Like, it's a nice radius like that. Kind of a central radius. I want to go a little bit further down.
All right.
Once that's hot, it doesn't take long, does it?
No. I think my only problem with the pivot is I'm coming at an angle,
Right.
instead of coming more down.
You know, also, Dan, that this anvil is like, remember, it's really high, it's
Right.
jacked up. And I thought about bringing the old one out on a lower pedestal, but with sledgehammering, I want this thing chained down for, you know, for our safety.
Oh yeah. I don't want that on my toes.
No, and it does walk, but this guarantees it's not going to walk, and I like that better.
Yeah.
And this is a better anvil. It's flatter. The other one's got some real holes in it. Hey, it's made 1849. I guess, you know, we have holes in us too. We have wormholes all over us. Isn't that neat? Bigger scale for bigger pieces of metal.
Nice.
It would be kind of, I thought about painting with those. I don't really have anything in this piece that would be applicable for. I'm already worried enough about sulfur around my painting. Okay, one more. Okay, one more. Just get that flat. Flip it. Okay. Pure lead carbonate turns black if it gets sulfur on it. So white lead, in other words, if it gets sulfur smoke on it, it turns black. And normal, I've got a piece in the house that's got some pretty pure lead on it. And I thought the funny thing is, why would it